My name's David Heathfield, and welcome to Free the Bee, marking 2 years of the project Tell a Child in Gaza's Tale. So 2 years ago today, on the 1st of January 2024, 1st of January 2024, Haneen Khaled Jadala, who's from Gaza, was staying with Tammy and me here in our home, and we came up with a plan to launch Tell a Child in Gaza's Tale, to not just encourage people to listen to the stories that were being told and had been told by children, teenagers, young people in Gaza and throughout Palestine, but mostly in Gaza, but also to invite you, people around the world, to retell their stories in honour of the child that you learned the story from or you heard tell it. And this project just took off. It went from strength to strength, and so many of you who are here in this room and people that you've met chose to take a story, or some cases more than one story, and retell it in English, sometimes in English and another language or dialect, to spread the stories. No condition that the story had to be done in a particular way. You could just tell the story, honouring the child you learned it from, but retelling it in your own way, being respectful of where the story was from, but not necessarily recording it, maybe just telling it to somebody in your family or in your classroom. But many people took up the invitation to not just tell the story, but to record yourselves telling the story and share it with me so I could share the story with the world. And right now we're up to, about more than 400 recordings in the project. So 130 tales being told by children in Palestine and mostly in Gaza. Many of the stories which have come since October 2023. Even very recently, in the past days, to people retelling those stories, and now there are more than 380 recordings of people like you, and the project continues. So thank you for being here, and some of you are going to be listening today, some of you are going to be retelling a story today that you learned from a child in Gaza. So I'm just going to see who's in the room to see if we're ready to get started, and just to see. I can see people all around the world. Do feel free to write in the chat where you are in the world if you would like to, and feel free to make a New Year greeting to everybody. Luzan and Menna aren't with us just yet. I've heard in the last day or two that the internet connection in Gaza is extraordinarily challenging, even more difficult now than it was before the so-called ceasefire. So I hope some of you are able to get in. But there is a girl called Heba. Is Heba here? I know she's lost connection. Okay, Heba is trying to get into the room just now from Gaza. If she gets in, give me a shout, and I'll invite Heba to tell one of the first stories. Let me just see in the chat if we're ready. I think we might. Kanwal. Hi, Kanwal. So Kanwal, can you unmute yourself? We're here with Kanwal Saud, Kanwal in Pakistan. And Kanwal, am I right that you're going to tell a story that you learned from Yasmeen and Tala and Gana, three young women from Gaza? I haven't got specific photographs of any of those three young women, because when they told the story at the World Storytelling Cafe, there was no video, they were just audio. But Kanwal, can you tell that story and just make a brief introduction if you would like to, just a couple of words? Lovely to have you here.
Same here. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. This is Saud, and I'm a storyteller from Pakistan. And I'm here to join you all to contribute in amplifying the voices of the children of Gaza. And I'm going to retell a tale which I learned from Yasmeen, Gana, and Tala. It's for Jana, it's Gana or Jeena. So the story is about two cats and a monkey. So, children, once upon a time, there were two cats, and they were very, very best friends. They played together, they ate together, they were always together. And one day, in a garden, they were prowling and they were really, really hungry. They were hungry and they were looking for food that suddenly they saw a loaf of bread. Now, there were two cats and just one loaf of bread. So they decided to break the loaf into two parts and then start eating it. But when they broke the loaf of bread, unfortunately, one piece was bigger and the other piece was smaller. The cats looked at each other and now they thought that they was going to get the bigger piece. Um, they were thinking about it and they started quarreling and they made so much noise. You know, when cats fight, they make so much noise and they were so noisy. And there was a monkey sitting on the top of a tree. And when he saw it, he jumped down from the tree and he asked the cat, "What's the matter? Why are you making so much noise? Calm down, calm down." And the cats told him about the piece of the loaf of bread and how they could not decide which piece to take or who gets the bigger piece. Monkey said, "Oh, don't have to worry. I've got a scale up on my treehouse. I'm going to bring it down and I'm going to divide the loaf equally in two parts." The cat said, "Oh, really? Are you going to do that for us?" "Yes, why not?" He went back to the treehouse, he brought back the scale, he put the two pieces of bread on both sides. Now, one piece was bigger and the other piece was smaller. And the monkey, he was a very clever monkey, he was a very sly monkey. And he said, "I'm going to divide it, but this piece looks bigger, and I'm just going to take a bite from it so that the pieces are equal." He bigger, larger piece and he took a big, giant bite from it. And then when he put it back, you know what happened? Now, the other piece was bigger and this piece was smaller. So the cat started shouting, "Oh, monkey, what are you doing? What are you doing?" And the cat said, "Now I'll get the bigger piece." The other cat said, "No, I'll get the bigger piece." The monkey said, calm down. You cats, you make so much noise. Just calm down. I'm going to fix it." And then he took another bite from the other piece. And when he took a bite, you know what? The monkey took another big giant bite. And when he put it back, now the other piece was larger. And the cats were just looking and they were just with eyes wide, they were looking and they were shocked what was happening. And they were thinking about that they had made a fool of themselves and the monkey was just tricking them. And he kept doing that. He kept taking bites from each piece. And in the end, only few crumbs were left on both scales. They were left hungry and empty handed. And that's the end of the story how the monkey fooled the cats. And, and children have to remember that when we are fighting, when we fight with our friends or we fight with our siblings, some other people take advantage of the situation. And what is left at the end, we not only lose our bond, we not only lose our friendship, we are also left empty handed and hungry, just like the two cats. So that's the lesson of the story. I hope you enjoyed the story. And I just want to say thank you to David. And I'm really grateful for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this wonderful, wonderful, noble project. And I never imagined I could be a part of it. But Alhamdulillah, it's really, really nice to be here.
Thank
And
you,
lots,
Kanwal. Thank you so
lots
much for thank you so
lots
much for being here and telling the story so faithfully in the name of those three girls. And I've got a beautiful new gift that I received from my son, which is a beautiful Palestinian candle holder, and I've lit a candle, as you were welcome to do as well, for all of the children of Gaza. And some of the children whose stories we're retelling today are children who I know have survived the genocidal onslaught on Gaza over the last couple of years. Some of the children, I don't know their circumstances, and even the teachers that I'm in contact with don't know, because everybody has been displaced so many times. But what the people in Gaza always say is keep telling the stories that the children have chosen to tell, whether they're still with us or not. That, you know, this is their culture, their choice, and it's our responsibility to keep their stories that they chose to share with the world alive by telling the stories in their names, in your names. So thank you so much, Kanwal. And I'm going to... The order is slightly different from any order I might have sent you before because of who's in the room. So I'm going to go straight to Michael O'Leary, who I can see here on the screen. So Mike, I know you're not expecting to come on so soon, but Mike, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that you're going to tell a story that was told by a few different girls from Gaza, including Salma and Jana, and also Shatha, who you can see on the left side of this photograph, together with her sister Hala. This is Shatha. Shatha told the story, during the onslaught, and also it was told by Layan from a rooftop in Gaza last year with the drones buzzing overhead. Layan's mother, Arij, a wonderful English teacher, and all four girls told... Well, Mike, over to you.
Young women, really. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, you can. Oh, it actually works. I didn't think it would get this working. Yes, it's. Well, I can't say 4 children because 2 are definitely young women. Well, the first person I heard it from was Salma. Actually, and Salma's 12 years old, or she was 12 years old when she recorded it, and she told us she's got 2 brothers and 2 sisters. And then there was Gana, and please forgive me if I pronounce names badly, but there was Gana, and I didn't have any details about her, so I don't really know about her, but she told the story beautifully. And there was, there's Layan, and she's 16, and she was actually on the roof when she told it. I could see the city behind her, which was wonderful. And Shatha, and she's 19. And she gave it lots and lots and lots of details, and it was beautiful listening to that, to all of them. Actually, it's an Aesop's fable. Okay, I could get hold of a book and read an Aesop's fable, but actually I don't know Aesop's fables very well. But it was lovely that I heard the story. That's the way to get a story, to hear it and then to retell it. And it was Salma I first heard it from, and it's about a crow. Great big crow, and it was a hot time, and there was no rain. We've had a lot of rain lately, but there was no rain, and it was dry. And the crow was thirsty, and the crow flew and flew and flew over the forest, great big forest, until finally, with his crow's eye, he looked down and he could see something on the ground. So they saw a jug, sort of round shape with a long neck for pouring the water out. Crow looked in. There was water. There was water in the bottom of the jug. And the crow put his head to the neck of the jug. Couldn't get to the water. Couldn't reach it. Tried to break his way in with his great big corvid beak. Break it! Couldn't get in! And the crow walked and flapped round and round and round and round the jug, and then saw that he was walking on pebbles, little stones, pebbles. Picked one up in his beak. dropped it into the jug. Was the water a little higher? Picked up another one. Dropped it into the jug. Water is higher. It's higher. Picked up another one. Dropped into the jug. The water is higher. And so the crow carried on, popping the pebbles and little stones into the jug until the water was high enough for him to reach his beak into it and the water. And satisfied his thirst and flew on his journey. I don't know where he was going. And that's a story. I'm sure there's a moral. If you want to find a moral in it, yeah, there must be, but you can think of your own. You can think of your own. I just told the story. But for me, what it's about is about those four people, the girls and the young women who told that story. And for me to hear it and for me to retell it, that's the wonderful thing. And yeah, I'm looking forward to listening to more stories.
Oh, thank you, Mike. Beautiful. I love the way you acknowledge those girls at the end again, because yeah, absolutely, that endurance, persistence, never give up. And Shatha, who's 19, as you say, I think she might be even, because her sister Hala's just turned 19, so Shatha must be at least 20 now, I guess, is doing her medical studies, and now Hala's followed in her footsteps. Hala started studying medicine just a couple of months ago. Just incredible young women. Amazing.
She was telling that story after a night when the bombs had been falling on her neighbourhood, wasn't she?
That's right. As they fell. Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I'm delighted to say that we're joined in the room by Luzan and Menna. And Luzan and Menna are in Gaza. And this is an event to mark the 2 years of the project. But there's a second reason for having this event, and that's also a chance to raise some funds. So we're going to be raising funds today as well for Luzan and Menna's family fundraiser, and I'll put the link in the chat. But first of all, let's hear from Luzan. So Luzan, how are you? Can you hear me, Luzan? Is she still in the room? She's lost. She was here a moment ago. She must have lost connection. As I say, the internet is extremely unstable at the moment. Please keep your eye out and let me know in the chat if you see Luzan re-enter. Is there anybody who's in Gaza or Palestine who's in the room at the moment? Oh, Luzan is here. Luzan, can you hear me?
Doesn't seem to have a microphone, David.
Okay. All right. Well, Luzan, try to keep the connection going, and I'll come back to you in a moment.
Hi, David. Can you hear me now?
Wonderful. We can hear you, Luzan. Thank you for being here, Luzan.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, to your family in Gaza, and to all of the people of Gaza. We are with you here all over the world.
Thank you.
Thank you for being part of this event, Luzan. Okay, I'll speak a bit while Luzan and Menna, hopefully the connection's going to get a bit stronger. I've known Luzan for a few years through storytelling courses, and then Menna, Luzan's youngest child, when she was 9 years old, created a story called The Bee, about a little bee who is in a garden. And this story Menna told, she made a little diorama puppet theatre made of paper, with paper flowers and a paper bee and paper characters. And she told the story, you told the story, Menna, so beautifully. And since then, many people around the world including some of us here in the room, Jackie and others, have retold the story of the bee in Menna's name. And Menna's also told the story at a number of live events, both in community centres and online. And even very recently, Menna, together with Luzan and some other children, turned that story into an animation. So it's become one of the most popular stories, I think, of the project Tell a Child in Gaza's Tale. So, Luzan, how's it going? Let's see if we can hear you now. Would you try and talk again, Luzan? Let's see if we can hear you and Menna.
Can you hear me? Because I'm not sure about the internet connection.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now, Luzan.
Okay. Do you would you like if Minna tell the story of the bee?
We would love it if Menna, will you tell us the story? And if you have to have the video switched off, that's no problem at all. We saw your faces. Now we can listen to your voice. Menna, can you tell the story? Okay, well, we're going to come back to Luzan and Menna in a bit. Let's see if they can get a connection. But right now I'm going to put the fundraiser link in the chat. Let me just see if I can do that. Everyone. Has it appeared in the chat? Let me try again. There. It's in the chat now. And if you go to that fundraiser, you can also read today's update that Luzan put in about the current situation, which unfortunately is still extraordinarily difficult. And you can read about that and if you're willing to, make a donation to their family fundraiser. But we'll come back to Menna shortly.
Okay.
But oh,
Minna can tell the story now.
yes, fantastic. Menna, please tell the story.
Okay.
Menna, we cannot hear you at the moment. All right. Well, listen. We're gonna come back. We'll try again. But first of all, let's go to Veena Hasan in India. Veena, are you with us?
Hello, am I
Hi.
audible?
David,
Veena, yes, you're audible. It's wonderful that you're here. And Veena, I think that you're going to tell a story that Malak told.
Yes. Hello, everybody. It feels great to be here for such a noble cause from all the way from India that we meet here today. And to all the children of Gaza, we see your strength and resilience in the middle of such unimaginable hardship. But in spite of that, you inspire us so much by telling us stories, creating your own stories, and by which we are inspired to retell your stories again and again. So today, thank you, David, for the opportunity. Hello, everybody, and Happy New Year. And I wish a bright future for all the people in Gaza. May your joys and peace come back once again. And may your sorrows be replaced with laughter and smiles. So today, I'd like to tell you a story which I heard from Malak, a child from Gaza. And the name of the story is How to Live the Best Life. And it's also known as a father and son. So here goes. Malak, this is for you specially. Okay. How to live the best life. Once upon a time, there was a son who went to his father and said, Father, how can I live the best life? And the father said, "That's a very interesting question, my son, but you have to remember three things. You have to remember three things. So listen carefully. How to live the best life. You must learn how to eat the best food. Then you must also learn how to live in the best bed. And then how to live in the best houses." But father, how can we live in the best house? How can we eat the best food and sleep in the best bed? We are poor. How? How can we do that, father? Well, listen carefully. Remember these three things. When your belly is empty and you're extremely hungry, and the food that you eat, you relish it, that will be the best food. When you work the whole day, from morning till night, you work for others, you're so tired that at the end of the day, wherever you lay down your head, you lie in the best bed. Now, listen to this. The third thing, how to live in the best house. My dear son, when you grow up, learn to respect people and listen to their feelings, listen to their stories. And when they share their stories with you, you live in their hearts. And when you live in the hearts, you live in the best house. So those are the three things you must remember, my son, how to live the best life. So this is a wonderful story which I have retold. I cannot count actually. I have told this story in my mother tongue also, and to so many children, and the children love to tell. Whenever I say like this, they already say the best food, and like this, the best bed and the best houses. Yes, everybody. So can all of us also say how to live, how to eat the best? Can you all
Food.
say best
How
food?
to eat the best food.
How can you sleep in the best bed?
Best bed.
And how to live in the
The best
best house.
houses. Thank you,
This
Veena.
story, this story, thank you so much for the
Veena,
opportunity.
we appreciate all of the stories. You've told so many of the stories you've learned from the children of Gaza, and it means the
Yes,
world to them and to all of us. And you said you also told the story in your mother tongue, which is
yes,
Assamese, right?
yes, it's Assamese. I'm from Assam, the
Yeah.
northeastern state in India.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much,
And I
Veena.
develop a bond. Every time David I say a story, I develop a bond with all the children, which makes me feel so happy.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Now we're going to see if Luzan and Menna we can now hear them. So Luzan, can you try talking again, please?
Welcome to the story of the bee.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Menna. Menna, would you like to tell us the story?
Hello.
Maybe it's a good idea to switch off
Nice to
the
meet
video.
you. Yes. This story tells us a story. Once upon a time, there was a bee. He loves flying between the flowers. He loves the colors. He loves the smell. He loves the sound. One day, the bee was flying between the flowers in the garden. She didn't see the angry man. What a noise! Come on! The angry man put a glass in the bee and said, help! Help! Help me, please! But nobody cared. He had no food, no water. He was very tired. She cried again. Help! Help! Help me, please! The neighbors heard the bee. They knocked the door. They knocked again and said, free, free, free bee, free, free, free the bee, free, free, free the bee. They opened the door, broke the glass, and the bee flying again to the flowers. Thank you.
Thank you, Menna. Beautiful storytelling, as always. Free, free, free the bee. And you told the story of the bee, and this is the bee that your friend Susan Piper made and gave to me, and I always take it when I tell your story, Menna. Sue Piper is the host of your fundraiser, and I put the link in the chat to the fundraiser. And also I'm going to hold here in front of the screen a QR code. So if you're watching this as a recording later, you can freeze, you can pause, and you can get that QR code and you can donate to Luzan and Menna's fundraiser. Thank you so much. Luzan, I know conditions are really hard at the moment, but we wish you all well. And Luzan, just a couple of weeks ago, you wrote an article about this story, which was published in a magazine, Melton News, for English language teachers. And you talked in the article about turning stories into animations. And I would like to play the animation of Free the Bee that you and Menna created recently. Can I show the animation now? Can I do that? So let me find it. Okay, and I hope everybody will be able to hear and see the video. Please tell me, shout out, turn your microphone on if you cannot hear it.
Once upon a time, there was a bee. She loves flying between the flowers. She loves the colors. She loves the smell. She loves the sun. One day, the bee was flying between the flowers in the garden. She didn't see the angry man.
What a noisy bee! Come on! The angry man put a glass on the bee.
Help, help, help me please! Help, help, help me please!
But nobody cares. No food, no water. She was tired. No, the bee cried again.
Help, help, help me please! Help, help, help me please!
The neighbors heard the bee. They knocked the door. They knocked again and said,
Free, free, free the bee! Free, free, free the bee! Free, free, free the bee!
They opened the door, broke the glass, and the bee was flying again between the flowers.
Free, free, free the bee. Can everybody switch on your microphones, please? And we can say it together for all of the people of Gaza and Palestine. Free, 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 free the bee. Free, free, free the bee.
Free the bee.
Thank you. Luzan and Menna, it's wonderful that you can join us here live in the room from Gaza. It really means the world to us. And we send you our love and we send you our solidarity.
David, can Menna tell soon she needs to go before long?
Say that again, please, Jackie.
Menna has asked, no, not Menna, Menna has asked if she can tell soon because she has to go soon.
She has to go soon?
Yes.
Ah, yes. So please, Menna, you would like to say something?
Hello, I am kind of in a hurry and I want to tell my story quick before I leave. Could I tell it? Say the story?
Is that Noor?
Yes, it's me.
Noor, we would love it if you tell a story. But Noor, can you just wait 1 second? I just want to check if Menna wants to say something else before you begin, okay? So
Okay.
just wait 1 second, please, Noor. It's wonderful that you're with us. Menna and Luzan, would you like to say anything before we move on?
Please.
Luzan, are you okay?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
I want to live at peace.
You want to see the bee? This is the bee that Sue Piper made for the story, to represent your story.
Thing for all children here in Gaza.
Thank you, Luzan. Thank you so much for being with us. Right. Well, I'm going to ask everybody, please, to mute your microphones. And we're going to go now to Nour. And Nour is from Gaza. It's no longer in Gaza. Nour, are you ready to tell us your story?
Yes, I am ready.
Fantastic. Nour, are you able to switch on your camera?
Hello.
It's wonderful to see you, Nour. We really, really love your stories. You're such a great young storyteller. Nour, what story are you going to tell us today?
The story is The Little Captain in a Sea of Hope. This is the story name. Sorry for the loud noise. 1 second.
Please tell us the story. Please tell us.
Yes. Once upon a time, there was a kid named Yasin. Yasin was 13 years old. He lived in an old tent in Gaza. After the war stopped, a new problem started. The cold weather and the heavy rain tore through Yasin's old tent. His family wanted to buy a new one, but
Nour, are you still with us?
yes. I just when anyone passed by, I stop so you can hear me when I am speaking.
We can hear you, yes. We can hear you.
Yes. Where was I? Yes, I was okay. Where was I? No. His family needed to buy a new one and needed to buy medicine for his sick sister. But the stuff were stuck at the border. The trucks were not allowed to pass. That made life very hard for everyone in the camp. But Yasin did not give up. He found an old note and drew a beautiful city with big houses and big hospitals. And he told himself, one day I will build this city. Then after the night ended, Yasin woke up, looked at the sky, and smiled. He knew after a hard night, the light always comes. Thank you for listening. This is the end of the story, and I am sorry if it's very short.
Nour, never say sorry. The short stories have so much power. And I love this story about a child in Gaza who never gives up. And that's a message that's in all of the stories that you tell us. They're always about perseverance, and keeping going in the face of adversity. Noor, thank you so much for representing the children of Palestine in your own telling of that story. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Well, I need to leave now. I'm going back to my family. I'm in somewhere else. Okay? I need to leave. Goodbye.
Okay, we understand, Noor, but we really appreciate you being here at the beginning of 2026. Thank you so much. Right. Well, after hearing that wonderful story from Noor, we're going to come to the UK, and Nell Phoenix is here. Thank you for being with us, Nell. I think, Nell, that you're going to tell a story that you learned from Raghad, or have you chosen another story?
No, I'm going to tell the story that I heard from Raghad when
Fantastic.
I was working in Colombia, and you sent me the link, and it was so inspiring. What fantastic storytellers. I can't believe that these young people working in second, third languages are telling such inspiring stories with such skill and such facility with language and such connection with people all over the world. So
absolutely,
it's just very exciting. Thanks so much. Happy New Year, everybody, and wishing us all peace and happiness and fulfillment in 2026. And yes, so this story was told by Raghad, I think, quite a few years ago. I think maybe she was only 12 when she told it first. Is that right? So
I think that's about right. Yes. That's about right. I'm still in contact with Raghad and her mother, who I know really well, and they've survived. So please tell Raghad's story.
So it's a story. It's a cheeky story. It's a Joha story. I know him as Nasruddin Hoxha, but Raghad told it as Joha, so I'll tell it as Joha. Joha. He wasn't feeling very well. He was just a little tiny bit poorly. And because he was poorly, he decided he couldn't work, he couldn't leave the house, he had to take to his bed. And all day long, he called orders out to his wife, wife, please get me a little cold cloth for my hot head. Please, wife, can you get me a little bit of honey for my dry throat. Wife, get me a hot compress for my cold chest. Wife, all day long. She was running in and out of the room with the bed, and she was tired. But come nighttime, in the darkness, Joha began to be afraid. He felt that everything was worse. And he called to his wife now in the nighttime, in the middle of the night, and he said, my beloved, my dearest, my heart, will you do something for me? And she said, Joha, anything. And then let me sleep. Yes. He said, please go put on your finest clothes. Will you do that? And put on your best jewels, glittering earrings and your necklace and your bracelet and the shiny belt thing. Put it on. And perfume. Have you got the smelly stuff and the stuff you put on your face, to make you look young. Do it. But Joha's wife looked at him and she shook her head and she said, Joha, why would I do these things? And he leaned up to her and he said, well, my beloved, because if death comes in the night for my soul, he'll look at you so young and fine, and he might take yours instead of mine. Isn't that a great story?
Wonderful.
Yeah, great. great. Such a great story. That's the story that Raghad told, this
Brilliant.
12-year-old, like fantastic, cheeky story. Thank you so much. Lovely to see your beautiful face, Raghad. Lovely to see that picture. Thanks for letting me retell it, David.
Oh,
Great
thank
to
you,
see
Nell.
you.
Thank you, Nell.
Very
What I love that story as well. It's so fun.
I like it. Yeah,
And
I like
there's
it.
Rebecca when that's her telling the story at the World Storytelling
Yeah, she
Cafe.
looks fabulous,
Fantastic.
doesn't she? Yeah, really great.
Thank you for being with us. Now, I've just
Thank
received
you
a
for
message,
inviting me.
everybody, from Luzan and Menna because we couldn't hear what they were saying very well. So I'm just going to read out a message from Menna, who we heard from just now. And Menna wants to say, I want to live in peace. I want to have a normal life, like all children all over the world. Children in Gaza deserve life. We have hopes and dreams for a better future. And Luzan says, I want to say that Menna and I are the voice of the Palestinian children. Thank you, Menna. Thank you, Luzan. And I'm just going to put the link to the fundraiser in the chat again. So if you are able to make a donation, however modest, it really will be help to support the family and be as generous as you're able to. Right, well, we're going to go to West Africa, to Nigeria, to dear friend Rasheedat Sadiq. Hi, Rasheedat. Hi, Rasheedat, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Rasheedat. Am I right that you're going to tell a story that you learned from this young woman whose
Jeena.
name is Jeena
Yeah,
from Gaza?
right.
And I was in contact with Jeena. This is when she was much younger. I was in contact with Jeena recently. She's okay. She's outside of Gaza now. But what an amazing story Jeena told, isn't it?
Yes, a really powerful one. And I'm honored to be here. And I do wish Jeena well wherever she is and all the others. So the title of the story is Dignity is Priceless. Story.
Tell us a story.
Once upon a time, in a land far away, there lived a majestic and powerful stallion. A magnificent horse, if you ever did see one. Tall, broad shoulders, strong limbs, gleaming skin. He ran wild in the grasslands and was admired by all. He didn't have much to do in this world. He played with his friends. He ate whenever he wanted to. He roamed around free as the wind. There was always everything available for him. One day, a merchant was passing by the fields in the wild grassland, and he spotted this magnificent black stallion, so strong in the distance. He was mesmerized. He had to come closer and closer until he approached, and he said, "Oh, majestic stallion, you look so wonderful. I would like to invite you to come and live with me. I will take good care of you. I will give you all the wheat, barley, and hay that you'd ever desire. Fresh water, care, affection. I just need you by my side. I admire you so much." The stallion thought long and hard. Wow, she'd be taken care of and treated like a king. And then he said to the merchant, will I be allowed to roam free and run in the winds? Will I be allowed to come and play with my friends whenever I want to? Will I be allowed to be free? The merchant looked at him and said, "No, once you come with me, you have to stay. But I do promise you would live an excellent life. You will lack for nothing. I will take total care of you." This didn't go so well with the stallion. So he declined and said, "No, thank you. I'm fine where I am." Time passed and there was a drought. There wasn't so much rain, and the river started to dry up, and vegetation started to shrivel. Things were tough, but the stallion and his friends were able to make do. In these tough times, the merchant remembered the stallion once again and decided to go back. And he said to the stallion, "Oh, beautiful, majestic stallion, you know I do love and admire you. I fear for you in this drought. There will be a famine after the drought. You won't have enough to eat. Come with me, come with me. I will take care of you. I will put you in a comfortable stable. I will have a soft bed for you, water, fruits, whatever you want. I will clean you. I will dress you. Come with me." This time around, the stallion thought again and said to himself, "Well, the merchant has come back. And though he has said, I won't be able to roam free, though he has said, I won't be able to play with my friends, though he has said, I won't be free, but at least I'll have food to eat, and at least I'll have a comfortable place to stay." So he followed the merchant. The merchant did sort of take care of him because he had enough food, enough water, a comfortable place to stay, but then he had to carry the loads of the merchant. He had to take the merchant wherever he wanted to go. The stallion didn't really mind this because he was strong. He was agile. But he missed the freedom, the wind blowing through his mane as he ran through the fields, playing with his friends, frolicking, swimming in the stream. He started to get sad and sad, moody. One day he couldn't stand it anymore, and he approached the merchant and said, "Oh, merchant, I don't think I can stay here anymore. I need to go back. I need to go back to the wild. I need to be with my friends. I need to run free. Please let me go. I don't mind if I don't have so much food. I don't mind if I don't have a comfortable bed. Please let me go." The merchant sighed and said to the stallion, "Oh, stallion, oh, stallion, once you allow a bridle to be put in your mouth and a saddle to be put on your back, you can never go free." Quite saddened by this. And then he just realized that he shouldn't have sold his freedom for the food. He shouldn't have let go of his friends for the comfort. He realized that dignity is priceless. Thank you.
Rasheedat, you do justice to Jeena's beautiful story. Dignity is indeed priceless, and the story takes on all new levels of meaning when we think of the context in which the story is now heard.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity. And we do wish those in difficult situations the freedom. Free the bee.
Free the bee. Thank you. Oh, Rasheedat, that's so appreciated. I want to ask if there's anybody in the Zoom room now who is in Palestine or is from Palestine, and I don't already know that you're wanting to tell a story or share a poem or some words with us today, do write a message in the chat, because if you're from Palestine or in Palestine, we would love to hear from you. Right now, we're going to go to the UK again, to Wales, and I think that Cath Little, Welsh storyteller, is here with us. And I think I'm right to say that, Cath, you're going to tell a story that Deema told. And I can tell you all that Deema is also now outside of Gaza. She's in Egypt, so she's not in peril. She told this wonderful story. Cath, will you share Deema's story with us?
Yes, thank you, David. It will be my honour to share Deema's story, which I found to be very moving.
It is.
And thanks also to Haneen, who said that when Deema told the story, she gave everyone a sense, a real feeling of peace and security, as is how I felt when I heard the story. Kenya McCain, once there was and once there was not, a mother elephant and her son, white elephants who lived together in the forest. The mother had searched and looked after her son for many years, and now she was old and her son looked after her. And with age, she had lost the use of her eyes, so she depended so much on her dear son for everything. One day, the white elephant's son was in the forest when he heard someone calling for help. When he told his mother he wanted to go and see what was wrong, what he could do, his mother said, "Do not go. Your kindness will only be repaid by unkindness. There is no trust in people. Do not go." The young elephant, he heard the cry for help and he wanted to help. And so he followed the cry and found a man all alone, hurt and lost. "Help, please," said the man. "I'm hurt. I cannot find my way home." The white elephant, the young elephant, "Climb upon my back. I will take you to safety. I will take you home." The young white elephant took the man all the way home safe and sound. But when they got there, the man sent a message to the king, telling him of a white elephant, a marvelous white elephant. And soon the soldiers were there and they captured the young elephant and took him to the zoo, to the palace zoo. Next morning, the king went to see his new possession, his marvelous white elephant. The zookeepers shook their heads. "He will not eat. We can do nothing." The king asked the elephant, "What's wrong, my friend? Why do you not eat? Don't you like the food?" But the white elephant, "How can I eat when my mother cannot? When she relies on me and she is all alone, I cannot eat if she cannot eat." "Oh, sweet elephant," said the king, whose heart was full of compassion, "I set you free. Return to your mother." And so the young elephant, so glad, returned to the jungle, to the forest, to his mother. She was so relieved to see him again. "I missed you. I missed you too." And they cried tears of thankfulness. And then the young elephant told his mother what had happened. And she said, "I told you so. There is no trust in people. That man, he betrayed you. I knew it. I knew it." But the young elephant said, "I do not remember the man who betrayed me. I choose to remember the king who showed compassion, who freed me, who was kind. I choose to remember kindness." When I heard Deema tell this story, I was amazed that she could think about kindness in such a difficult situation, in such a difficult world. And I was inspired too, and inspired to share her story. So shukran ya Deema, thank you Deema, thank you Haneen, thank you ya David, and let's remember there is goodness in the world too.
Thank you, Cath. Yes, I choose to remember the kindness in the world. It's such an important message in that story as we think about all of the children of Gaza. Thank you so much. Well, Cath, much appreciated. We're going now to introduce a friend of mine called Imad Eddin, and Imad is not far away from where I am right now. And Imad, you're from Gaza. Imad, are you with us?
Yeah, David, I'm with you.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. And I have to say, Imad, I can't really call you a young storyteller or a child from Gaza, but you have children in Gaza right now. And in their name, and I think in the name of all of the young people and all of the people really in Gaza, you created a song. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Before I play the video of the song that you wrote, would you like to say a couple of words?
I would like to say thank you to everyone who joined today for their amazing contributions, for retelling the stories that Gaza's children have written, to understand the messages implied in these stories. It's really wonderful and an honor for me to join you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Imad. And you wrote the song, Oh Gaza, You're Still Standing Tall. And if I understand correctly, friends of yours in the United States took the words of your song and turned it into a wonderful piece of music and song. And then you got the song, and it's been on the internet, and recently you created a video to go with the song, and that's what I'm going to share now. And it's a very easy song to join in with and sing together. But I'm going to suggest that we listen, and if you want to sing, please keep your microphone switched off, but sing loudly, because the words are on the screen, and it's a real unifying cry for Gaza to not just survive, but to stand tall and to regain strength so Gaza can live. So here is your song, Imad's song, Gaza, You're Still Standing Tall.
In Gaza streets where shadows fall, a storm of fire consumes it all. The children cry, the night so cold, the stories left untold, untold. The skies they burn, the ground it shakes, 1,000 hearts that slowly break. But through the dark, a light will rise. You'll see it in their eyes, their eyes. Oh Gaza, you're still standing tall. Through every rise, through every fall, your spirit's strong, it won't let go. In every heart, the flame will glow. Oh Gaza, hear the voices sing. Through all the pain, the hope you bring, we'll carry on, we'll hold the line. Your strength will always shine, always shine. The world may turn a blinded eye as homes and dreams are left to die. But in the rubble, voices soar, we'll stand forevermore, forevermore. Oh Gaza, you're still standing tall. Through every rise, through every fall, your spirit's strong, it won't let go. In every heart, the flame will glow. Oh Gaza, hear the voices sing. Through all the pain, the hope you bring, we'll carry on, we'll hold the line. Your strength will always shine, always shine. From shattered streets, a song will start, of courage beating in each heart. The world will know the world will see the fight for Gaza's destiny. Oh, Gaza, you're still standing tall through every rise, through every fall. Your spirit's strong, you won't let go. In every heart, the flame will glow. Oh, Gaza, hear the voices sing. Through all the pain, the hope you breathe, we'll carry on, we'll hold the line. Our strength will always shine, always shine. Shattered streets, a song will start.
Thank you, Imad, for sharing your song with the world. I think we can all appreciate what an incredible song that is, and a real anthem to get behind, that we stand with Palestinians. Well, we're going to be joined by Rebeca Robles now. And Rebeca, you're in Mexico, and you've told some of the stories you've learned from children in Gaza in English, and I know that also in Spanish, which is wonderful. I think today you're going to tell in English a story that you learned from Habiba. This is Habiba from Gaza, story of the little white cat. Is that right, Rebeca?
That is totally right. I am sorry, I'm a little hoarse this morning, but
we can hear you well, and it's great to see you as well.
It's great to see you too. You know that I feel really proud of being part of this project, because for me, it is a way of keeping children's voices alive. And we should continue doing that. The story I'm going to tell is called The Little White Cat by Habiba. And it starts like this. Once upon a time, there was a little white cat. This little white cat had 6 brothers and sisters, and a father and mother who were black. He was the only one who was white. And the little white cat grows and grows and gets older and older and bigger. And then one day he starts wondering, do I want to be a farmer? No, that's not what I want to do. Do I want to be a teacher? No, I don't think that's for me. I know, I should be a witch's cat. That would be great for me. And then he decided to become a witch's cat. He talked to his mother and said, hey, Mom, I want to be a witch's cat. I have to go out and find my witch. His mother said, oh, that's a great idea, my little cat. Go, but then come back. And then he set off looking for his witch. And he walked and he walked and he walked until he found one. And when he saw the witch, he asked, do you have a cat? No. Well, don't worry anymore. I'm here. I will be your cat. No, said the witch. You're white. Witches' cats are black. Oh, the cat felt a little sad, but he didn't say, I will be back home. He continued searching. He walked and he walked for days until he found another witch. And when he found the witch, the first thing he asked was, hey, have you got a cat? No. Well, worry not anymore because I'm here. I will be your cat. Oh, said the witch. Sorry, my friend, but you are white. And witches' cats are black. Oh, the poor little white cat felt sad. But he still continued his search. He walked and he walked. He was hungry. He was tired. Until he found a cottage in the middle of the forest. And behind the cottage, there was a chimney sweep. He was having lunch. He got close to the chimney sweep and said, "Oh, good morning. Good morning, my little white cat. You look tired and you look hungry. Would you like something to eat?" "Oh, sure." So the little white cat, the chimney sweep swept his food, sandwich, with the little white cat. And as they were eating together, he said, "Oh, you look tired. What are you looking for?" "Well, I want to be a witch's cat." And then suddenly the little white cat saw the big bag with black soot. And he put his paw in it. And when it came out, he saw it was black. And he was surprised. He said, "Oh my God." And then he put all his legs in. And when he came out, he said, "Wow." Then he decided to jump into the bag. And when he jumped into the bag, he was really happy in there. And when he jumped out, he was even happier because he was all black. "Oh, my little white cat." "Well, my little black cat," said the chimney sweep. "Now you are black. You could be a witch's cat." "Oh, yes, I could," said the little black cat. And then he said, "Well, you are lucky, my friend, because in this cottage lives a witch, and she's sitting at the front of the cottage on her rocking chair." The little white cat the little black cat now didn't think about it twice, and he went to the witch and he said, "Hello, have you got a cat?" And the witch said, "No, I haven't got one." "Well, you should be happy because I will be your cat." The witch was happy too, and she started patting the cat. And then she said, "I'm so happy that you are here. It is sad that I cannot see you because I am blind." Stories come, stories go, and this story has come to a stop. I love this story because it kind of tells us that sometimes we care too much about what we look like and our appearances. And when that is not really important, if we only close our eyes, we could see that we are more similar than different. Thank you for having me here.
Rebeca, thank you for being here with us and for sharing this story that Habiba in Gaza told. And I can hear your voice is a little hoarse, but it's perfectly clear. And your storytelling is as beautiful and meaningful as ever. A story about everyone being included and everyone being accepted, however you look, whoever you are. So we're here sharing stories that we've learned from children in Gaza, and also it's a chance to raise some money for Luzan and Menna's fundraiser. I think Luzan has had to leave. She didn't have a very good internet connection. But I'm just going to put the fundraiser in the chat again, and thank you to a couple of people who've already made a donation since we started this broadcast. And if you're watching this as a recording, this is a chance to also to make a donation. I'm just going to read an update to the GoFundMe fundraiser that Luzan, who we met earlier, wrote yesterday. So Luzan says, "I don't know what to say or how to begin. All I know is that I want to write about my ongoing suffering. It feels endless, as if there's no hope for a better life. Maybe I won't be able to write again. My mobile phone, the only device I use to write, is broken. I need to buy a new one, but my priorities are food, firewood to keep us warm, and heavy clothes for my children. Writing is the only thing that helps me relax and gives me the strength to carry on through these very hard circumstances. I want to tell you that I found another place to live with my children. I know that the rent is expensive, but I have no other choice. A few days ago I moved into a place. I managed to find an apartment. It's partially destroyed, but I was able to find one room inside it. The room has no proper walls. I use a piece of cloth to cover the collapsed parts. The ceiling also has small holes. Still, I told myself that for now this might be better for me and my children. I don't know if the rain will leak heavily into the room or not. All I know is that I urgently need a safe and warm place for my family. I am truly terrified of the rainy weather. Just last week, 5 people from my beloved relatives were killed when their destroyed house collapsed on them. The fear of losing any member of my family because of a collapsing building never leaves me. For now, I will try to live in this apartment and see what happens. I keep telling my children that everything will be fine. I have to believe that. This morning, I heard that the weather will be rainy. I felt scared again, but I also believe that there are still kind and generous people in this world, people who care about humanity, who may help me find and rent a place that's safer and better. So know that, if you're able to make a donation, it will be helping Luzan and her family to get through this catastrophic situation. Well, we're also joined in the room, I'm delighted to say. And just before I go on, here is the QR code of the fundraiser. So if you're watching this as a recording, you can pause the video and you can get the code there, and that will take you to Luzan and Menna's family fundraiser. So delighted to say that also in the room we're with Jackie Ross, and I think, Jackie, you have told many of the stories in English and often also in Doric, your mother tongue. I think I'm probably the person who's told most of the stories, but I think you come a close second in terms of the number of stories you've retold. So we really appreciate your solidarity standing with the children of Gaza, Jackie. Please, would you tell us a story that you learned from Nour? Nour and her sister Lama here, and this is Nour on the left with a parakeet on her head.
Noor is some storyteller. She has told so many wonderful stories. As have so many of the children, and it's hard to decide which one to tell, David, but I have chosen one that Noor told, the city under attack. And it goes like this. Once upon a time, there was a city under attack. Its citizens had been surrounded. The enemy would not let anyone out, and they would not let any food in. The people were desperate. They were at their wits' end. Should they surrender, or should they continue? Should they hold on to their pride and starve to death? For they were starving. The leader of the city, desperate, decided there was no option but to surrender, to throw themselves at the mercy of their enemy. And he ordered that the drawbridge be lowered. But an old woman forced her way through the crowd and shouted, "Stop, stop! I can save this city. I can save it if you get me a cow." "A cow?" scoffed the crowd. "Where are we going to find a cow in this city? We are starving. There is no cow in the city." But the old woman said, "There will be a cow somewhere. We just need to look." And so the people started to search. And sure enough, before long, they heard a gentle moo coming from the basement of a selfish family. A family who had kept this cow for its milk, not to share with others, but to keep for themselves. Well, the cow was taken to the old woman, and she said, "Good. Now, I need to fill these 2 buckets with grain." "But we have so little left. How can we fill 2 buckets with grain?" And she said, "If we all give a little, we will manage." And she poured the last of her own grain into the first bucket. Soon others followed. They came with a handful or 2 small handfuls, and soon the buckets were full. The old woman took the buckets and tipped them out in front of the cow. The crowd were aghast. "She's feeding the cow our food?" The leader said, "We are in no worse a position than we were this morning. Let us trust the old woman. Let us go home to our beds, and we will see what happens in the morning. We can be in no worse position than we were today." Well, the cow greedily ate all the grain, and when it was finished, the old woman got the soldiers to open the gate of the city, and she pushed the cow out, and quickly they closed the gate again. It wasn't long before the enemy soldiers rounded up the cow and took it to their general. He laughed. He said, "One cow will not make us more generous, but they had a cow. This is amazing. But we will enjoy it. We will eat this cow." For they too were hungry. Their resources were dwindling, and they were scarce of food. So the cow was put to the kitchens, and it was served up to the hungry army. Later, one of the kitchen aides came to the general and said, "General, when I cut open the cow's stomach, out poured buckets of undigested grain." The general went white. Undigested grain? How could these people feed their cows? How have they got the resources to do that? Surely they are better fortified than we thought. Surely they are waiting for us to grow weak, and then they will attack us. And that very night he ordered for his camp to be packed up, and the enemy went home to their own country. And the city was saved by the cow, the 2 buckets of grain, and the old woman. Thank you, Noor, for such a powerful story, and let's hope that we can see that story as an emblem of what might happen.
Thank you, Jackie. It's such an amazing story that Noor told, and you've just done Noor proud by retelling it in her name so beautifully. We need wise women like that. Well, one of the most prolific young
Sorry, David. Sorry, you're right. We do need wise women like that. It would be nice to have some wise men too. Because unfortunately, they're the ones who have the power at the moment, it seems.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Well, the most prolific of all the young storytellers in Gaza is a young woman called Hala. Hala at the World Storytelling Cafe told many stories from when I first met her aged 13, back during lockdown when the young international storytellers began at the World Storytelling Cafe, but she continued telling stories right into the onslaught on Gaza over the last couple of years. She and Shatha, who we heard her story retold by Michael O'Leary earlier, came in and told stories last year. Hala can't join us live today because tomorrow she's got her first set of medical exams. She started her university medical studies to be a doctor a couple of months ago. She's in Gaza. She's hoping to win a scholarship to be able to study medicine outside Gaza, but for the time being she's in Gaza and pursuing her studies to become a doctor, which is such an admirable thing, like her older sister joining her in that quest. So Hala just a couple of days ago found time to record us a new story. So this is the first showing of a story, The Dog in the Hall of Mirrors, The Dog and the Hall of Mirrors. So here is Hala's latest story. Need to get it playing. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Hala. I'm 19 years old. I'm from Gaza, Palestine. Today I will tell you a story. The name of my story is The Dog and the Hall of Mirrors. So, once, not twice, not 3 times, but once upon a time, there was a dog. Just an ordinary dog. Curious, lively, and full of life. One day, this dog wandered into a museum, but not just any museum. Oh no, this was a museum made of mirrors. Mirrors on the walls, mirrors on the ceiling, mirrors on the floor, mirrors on every door. Everywhere the dog looked, mirrors. Can you say it with me? Mirrors everywhere. Yes, mirrors everywhere, shining, gleaming, dazzling. The dog took one careful stop and stopped. He saw another dog and another and another, a whole pack of dogs. The dog growled, grr. He showed his teeth, grr. The dog barked, oh, oh. And guess what? All the other dogs did the same. He jumped forward, they jumped forward. He leaped back, they leaped back. Round, round. He ran, barking, growling, showing his teeth, and everywhere the same angry faces back. The dog barked and barked and barked. He tried to scare them away, but they stayed. He barked louder, they barked louder. And all through the night, until there was silence. In the morning, the museum guard opened the door, and there on the shining mirrored floor lay the poor dog, still and lifeless, surrounded by hundreds of reflections of himself. No one had hurt him, no one had chased him. He had been angry only with himself. And that, my friends, is the story of the dog and the Hall of Mirrors. What do you see when you look at the world? Because the world, yes, the world, will not bring you good or bad on its own. Everything you see, everything you feel, everything you do is reflected right back to you. The world is nothing but a great shining mirror. So, when you stand before it, stand carefully, stand kindly, stand wisely, and remember, what you see is what you bring. What you see is what you bring. My story did I tell in your heart, let it well. And goodbye.
Amazing as always. Hala, just astonishing. Yes, the Hall of Mirrors, a life lesson for us all. What we give to the world, we get back. Another wise woman, Jackie, but we need more wise men as well, as you said. Hala not only tells stories, she also writes. And Hala wrote a book that was published in 2025, which finished yesterday, a book called Gaza Girl, The Gaza Diaries 2024 and 2025. Many of you already have copies of this book. If you've only got one copy, you can still get more and give them to other people. And there's a QR code on the back. You can pause the video and you can get this QR code to order copies of the book. I'll put the link in the chat in a moment, but I'm just going to read the introduction to the book, just so you get a flavour and you might be tempted to get your own copy of Gaza Girl. Hala, Gaza Girl. My given name means the aura of light surrounding the moon. Perhaps it's my destiny that the moon be my most faithful companion. I hope to reflect her light on my homeland, then on the world. I often hesitate to write a book. I fear starting something I may not be able to complete. My life is in constant danger at every moment. Something shocking always happens. A voice pierces my ears, dust and screams, ending with a child or a girl my age being orphaned, a mother losing her children or her husband. The martyr is carried in his shroud and escorted to a funeral. But today funerals are not held. Burial is in a mass grave. If your body's found intact, they might only find a hand or a leg, or your family might identify you, and you might be buried with other remains. I apologise, reader, but this is just a small part of my life. Everything changes in life, and this scares me. I am a young girl. I make mistakes and learn from them. I grow, and then the next shock arrives. Can I really look towards my dreams? I love writing my wishes in poetry to tell you one of my dreams. My dream? To look at the moon, hoping to one day look at it with eyes filled with happiness, with the one I love. I want to live in a safe, warm house with wide windows that protect me from the noise of the world and allow me to observe it. Every morning the golden rays of the sun fall on the curtains, warning me and caressing my cheeks. I start my morning with a warm cup of tea. To stare at the clouds every day. Clouds are like the obstacles of daily life. The more numerous and dense they are, the closer I feel comfort and joy. To remind myself that everything changes, that the sun will rise, that these clouds will pass and will not remain forever, and that life goes on. To see a sky full of stars, undisturbed by warplanes. To feel no confusion between a bomb exploding or a twinkling star. To wake up one day with a heart free of pain, a mind free of worries, and my eyes free of tears, and regret for what I have lost and what I'm missing. I want to write positive thoughts in my diary instead of writing sad words and depressing feelings about death, despair, and the helplessness that grip me from within as my eyes reveal. I want my future home to be filled with books, flowers, plants, candles, and artworks. To have a place I can call home. A beautiful home. This is just part of the introduction to Gaza Girl. You get a flavour of it. It's beautiful writing. And it's a wonderful testament. And if you do decide to get a copy, you just make a donation using this link. And a copy will be sent to you. And all of the proceeds will reach Hala and her family so they can get by. I'm just going to put that link, if I can just find it, to order your copy if you haven't already got a copy, in the chat. Here you go. There you are. If you go to that link, it's Navigator Press, and any money you give there will reach Hala, whether it's a tip, because you can just make a tip if you've already got a copy of the book, or you can buy a copy of the book. And all of that money would reach Hala and her family. So right now, I'm going to say if there's anybody in the room who's from Palestine or in Palestine who would like to read or tell a story, then please put a message in the chat. But right now, just had a message. Immediately I say this from Jonathan Wanham. And Jonathan is a friend, a poet, and Jonathan has helped his good friend Mohammed Yasser al-Badniji to write his book, to get his book published, Diary of a Spice Seller. And Jonathan has just written in the chat, I think Mohammed al-Badniji in Gaza has been able to join the meeting. I just wonder, Mohammed, would you like to say hello? Are you with us, Mohammed? Hello, Mohammed?
Yeah, he's never used Zoom before, and he's only just downloaded the app.
Okay. Well,
so I think
Jonathan, it's great you're here. I just wondered, I prepared today to read a bit from Mohammed's book. Shall I do that, or would you like to?
I don't mind. I'm quite happy to read something.
Well, maybe you could message Mohammed and find out whether he would like to speak himself, and then I could come back to you after the next story.
I see that his voice is now on. So, Mohammed, can you hear me?
Hello, Mohammed.
Jonathan, he has to unmute, I think.
Yeah, he is unmuted. So I heard something just then.
Hi, Mohammed.
And now he's muted again. Take off your mute, Mohammed.
Well, while Mohammed is getting unmuted, if you can, Jonathan, I just want to say thank you for helping this book to come into the world, because I've been reading it I've been very busy over the last few days, but I've been reading extracts, and I got to just New Year's Eve 2024, and I thought, well, this is a year ago, and I prepared in case Mohammed didn't come in himself to read that extract. But it really just strikes me as a book that, like Hala's book, just brings home very powerfully the experience of a young person who's gone through something that's really hard for us to imagine outside of Gaza. And I mean, what brought you to get that book together with Mohammed? How did that come about?
Well, it's quite a long story.
Maybe we could have the brief version.
The brief version is that, well, I'm a poet, and I wrote 2 books about Gaza since October 7th. They're books full of poetry and basically history of what happened every day for a period of 450 days or so. I met Mohammed in about August last year, and we began chatting on Instagram chat, and we got to know each other. I helped him with some projects and to get food and things like this. And then when he saw what I was doing, he said, can I write a book? Will you help me write a book? So I agreed, and he wrote down his whole history of what had happened to him in the last 2 years. And he also began writing diaries and poetry. So I helped him to put it all together, and then I published it. So yeah, it is an extraordinary book. It's an extraordinary story. He tells it incredibly well. Poems are fantastic. I definitely recommend people to buy it, because firstly, half the money goes to Mohammed. So it's going for a good cause. But secondly, this is an unforgettable book. If you read
It is. It's brilliant.
You read it.
It's absolutely brilliant. It's incredible writing. Could you put a link about how someone could actually get in touch with you to get a copy of the book?
Yeah, it's very simple. Just drop me an email. So I'll write my email down.
Thank you very much. It's very highly recommended.
And then just email me.
Mohammed, would you like to say something? Did you hear what Jonathan was just saying? Hello, Mohammed. Okay, well, in that case, I'm gonna ask you, Jonathan, if you'd be willing to choose and read an extract. Are you ready to do that now, or shall I come back to you after the next story?
No, I'm ready, actually. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Yeah, so I discussed with Mohammed about something to read, and I like this poem. It's called Displacement in Gaza. A caravan of souls walking on ashes, carrying their homes in their eyes, their keys in their pockets, their dreams hanging in the sky. Children walk barefoot, their cries running ahead of their steps. Mothers hide their tears behind a tired smile, so the little ones won't break further. Men look back as if saying farewell to an entire lifetime, then move on with a heavy silence, broken only by the sigh of defeat. In the camp, the tent cannot hold the heart. The cold sleeps beside us, and hunger counts our breaths. Yet, in spite of it all, we plant a small laugh among the ruins. We light a candle in the darkness, and we tell the world, we are not refugees in our own land. We are roots that remain, stretching from beneath the rubble, declaring that life will never be defeated.
Well, thank you for reading that so brilliantly, Jonathan, and thank you so much, Mohammed, for being with us in the room. And if you look in the chat, you can see the email, Jonathan's email, wonham@mac.com. I'm going to spell that out in case you're listening to this as a recording. Wonham is WONHAM at mac.com. If you email Jonathan, the book costs £10 plus postage. So, it's a wonderful book to get. And there's a photograph of Mohammed from the back of his book. How old is Mohammed now?
He's 17. He's just about to turn 18 on the 4th of January.
Happy birthday, Mohammed. And amazingly, I've just noticed that we've been joined in the room by another poet. And the poet we've been joined by is Ibrahim Mohammed Yagi in Gaza. Ibrahim, I think, is 22. Wonderful poet. Ibrahim, it's wonderful that you're here with us. How are you? Can you hear me, Ibrahim?
Hello?
Hi, Ibrahim. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you for being here with us.
I'm really grateful for you, David, and for everybody that gives me the opportunity to let me recite some of the words that needs to be conveyed for most of the Westerns and for the people who stands with the Palestinians and who are identified as Palestinians. As I've said in the previous meeting, we are all Palestinians no matter what nationality we have.
We are all Palestinians.
Yes. Well, I think I would like to start my speech in a couple of verses. Then I'm going to ask you a question. Whether you like it or not, you can answer in the chat, or whether you can open your mic. It's 4 verses, so no need to be bored. So nothing to be bored of. From Gaza, where resilience meets the sea, I speak the truth of my people and the strength that sets us free. In every word, a testament to the spirit that won't break, and in each line, the promise of a brighter day we will make. Thank you all for coming together, for standing in solidarity, and for lending your voices to the cause of Palestine. Your presence and support are a beacon of hope, and together we strengthen our shared commitment to justice and peace. I'm deeply grateful for each and every one of you who joins this journey and amplifies our collective voice. So the question is in here. I would like to recite a story, then I'm going to recite a poetry. If you do not mind, actually, David. So my question is in here.
It's not a question of me not minding. We want to hear your voice, Ibrahim. It's wonderful to hear your words.
Thank you so much, David. Well, my question is in here. You would like to hear the published story or the newest one?
It's an impossible choice. What's calling for you at the moment? What did you say, Avita?
New one. The new one.
The new one. Okay. Okay, we can recite it for you. Amir's world was painted in shades of grey, with echoes of laughter now replaced by silence. One fateful day, as Amir played near his home, the sky erupted with the thunders. Roar of conflict, the ground trembled, and in an instant, Amir's world turned to chaos. His family's home, once filled with laughter and warmth, was reduced to rubble. Amir, with tears streaming down his face, searched through the diaper. Calling out for his family, the world around him seemed to darken, and the laughter that once filled the air was replaced by a haunting silence. And that in the days that followed, Amir faced the harsh realities of loss. He lost his family. He wandered through the remnants of his neighborhood, each corner holding memories of loved ones and lost dreams. Yet, amid the devastation, Amir discovered the strength of community. Neighbors came together, sharing stories, comforting one another, and rebuilding what they could. Amir's spirit remained unbroken. He found solace in the small moments of kindness and the laughter of children playing amidst the ruins and in the resilience of his people. Amir's journey became a testament to the endurance of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the face of unimaginable hardships, hope and compassion can prevail.
Yes. Hope and compassion prevail. Thank you so much. These are very, very beautiful and important, powerful words.
Well, I couldn't just tell you the real story because he told me that out of his safety, I shouldn't say any word because it touches his dangerousness and it touches the danger of the airstrikes that can come to him and his family and can destroy him and can remove him from the civil registry as other Palestinians. So I can speak some words finally. In Gaza's heart, where silence falls, a child's laughter now recalls the echoes of a brighter day when peace and joy held sway. Yet now the streets are lined with grief, the lost, the hungry, seeking relief. If I must fade into the night, then let your spirit burn so bright, for in the ashes of our pain, a seed of hope will rise again. If I must die, then you must live, and in that life our love forgive. So the reason behind I didn't say anything with grief and sorrow, we have to show the world that even though we can pick the hope among the devastation that surrounds us, we can smile still, world. Because of you, you're supporting us, you're giving us the real words. Before the meeting, I was about to shock you with the story itself, even though I'm not allowed to write poetries or write stories, because I was warned by the IUF. If I did write something, I'll be deleted. Me and my family. So I try my best to do not publish stories. So I was thinking about, for a moment, that may I show them the real stories, or I show them the real moods or the real atmospheres, or shall I let them footage the real laughter of a Palestinian? So I've chose that no matter what, we can smile together as long as you're making us smile. You're seeing us smile makes you happy. That's the whole deal.
Shukran. Thank you, Ibrahim. These are very important questions. Safety is paramount, but that possibility by sharing too much that you're putting yourself in danger and your family in danger is so it's heartbreaking, but it's real. I can hear that. I want to actually take this moment to acknowledge that many of the young people, the children whose stories we've retold and we are retelling and continue to retell and will retell as part of Tell a Child in Gaza's Tale, haven't managed to get through this. This is a photograph of Maysoon telling the story of the fairy tale rabbit who lived on the moon that she created herself. And Maysoon and her family were killed in November of last year, the year before last, November 2024. And there's so many wonderful children who've shared their stories, who we don't know their circumstances. A very poetic young storyteller called Layla recently told a story, and it came my way via her teacher, Dr. Omar Hamad. And I know that in the room we have Evita, and Evita is going to retell a story. And Ibrahim, I think that you're going to really enjoy listening to Evita retelling Layla's story. Here's a picture of Layla telling the story. So, Evita, would you tell us Layla's story?
I will.
May
I
I
hope Ibrahim
interrupt?
is still.
Yes,
Yeah.
please do. Please speak.
I think at a specific point, I'll lose the connection of internet and the electricity.
Sure.
So I'm really sorry if the connection have lost in the middle of it. So I'm really sorry, Evita. I'm really sorry, David. I'm really sorry, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here with us, Ibrahim. And I just wanted to say, you mentioned earlier that you were here before with us when we did the event If I Must Die, remembering the 2 years since Dr. Refat Alaria was killed, and you spoke his poem in English and Arabic, and also gave us another one of your fantastic poems. And also in the room on that day was Imad Ahmadhoun, who's here in Exeter, but also from Gaza. And Imad's with us again, so I guess it's good for you to hear Ibrahim's poems again, isn't it, Imad?
Yeah, it's amazing to hear Ibrahim again. He's just a talented young Palestinian man, as most of the Palestinians are. He's just amazing. Thank you, Ibrahim. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us, Ibrahim.
Thank you so much for being with me from this long time, actually. Thank you all.
Your presence, your questions, your words, and your thoughts are just so appreciated all around the world. So, if you do lose connection, we understand, but let's hear Evita telling Layla's story of the blue butterfly. Over to you, Evita.
Shukran. Thank you, David. Now, we've heard from Ibrahim, we've heard from the stories from the children that there's one thing that always comes up. It's the hope and the resilience and the not giving up. Some stories absolutely burn themselves into your heart. I can hardly believe how creative, resilient, and clever the children of Gaza are. And when I heard Layla's story, it was just so very, very special. So, Layla, wherever you are, I'm with you, and shukran that I get to share your own story. It is, you will agree with me, it is absolutely amazing. Layla's story. There was a time when light had no color but ash in the besieged city of Gaza. And there was a young girl, 12-year-old Layla. Layla carried a secret, both very small and very great at once. For you see, the children of Gaza have no homes and no toys. But what they do have is a very vast imagination. Layla's was a blue butterfly. Layla met the blue butterfly. Well, it was not quite real. Imaginary, a bit like a star when it falls onto the earth. It can only be seen by people with hope in their hearts. The first time Layla met the blue butterfly, she was under the rubble. The butterfly whispered about life above the bricks and stones. Butterfly was Layla's only companion through the dark, long nights devoid of any light. It told her stories of endless strawberry fields, of calm seas, untouched by warships, of clear skies unbroken by the roar of airplanes. The butterfly nurtured Layla's soul so she could dream of a better tomorrow where she would soar on her own wings away from the many days spent stuck under rubble. One day, when every breath was so difficult to take, the sky burst into fire. Layla felt a heat and a blaze she had never experienced before. Hope began to slip out of her heart. Her butterfly began to fade, but it whispered weakly, Lila, Lila, don't lose hope. As long as you believe in us, we are still here. Strength is not in war, but in hearts that refuse to be broken. Lila, try, and see how you might succeed. Now Lila gathered all her strength and decided she would try to escape. First, she screamed at the top of her lungs. She screamed and screamed, hoping that some neighbors would hear her. She screamed and screamed, hoping someone would find her. With every stone she lifted, she said, This is hope. It is a light that will return and never go out. And she could feel a little bit stronger. She donned her colorful wings and began to soar. Yes, she could feel real life getting closer. She could feel the light approaching, and her heart began to fill with strength. And there she saw, through a gap, she saw a light. She saw outside, and there she saw her blue butterfly, shining brighter than ever, like a beacon in the darkest of darknesses. Wow! A blue butterfly in Gaza? No, Gaza in a blue butterfly. So you see, power is not in the ability to physically fly, but in the ability to express people's dreams in the darkest, most difficult of circumstances. Well, my friends, the butterfly did fade. Lila departed, leaving an unseen trace of the butterfly in her wake, a trace of hope. Haza salam, falima salam, nudurtum alimu kalbi fil manan, kalimun wa ada, kalimin wa ainun kunjur, fumain, bifadayin, binafadayin, la makana, lahu fi wujud, milala, milala, la 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 la, milala, 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 la 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 la, milala. Shukran, Lila, for your resilience, your strength, and your story.
Thank you for retelling Layla's story so meaningfully, so beautifully, Evita. Layla said, "We are here as long as you believe in us." That was one of the more recent stories that came our way as part of the project from Gaza. Absolutely amazing. How to survive, how to live. Well, now we're going to go to the west coast of America. And we are joined by Bowen Lee. Thank you for being so patient, Bowen. I know at the beginning of this meeting it was still very early in the morning where you are, 7 o'clock in the morning. Now a bit of time has passed. I hope you've had time to come into your New Year's Day. Happy New Year to you, Bowen, and to everybody. And Bowen, you're retelling a story that you heard Mariam tell. And also, it was also told by Raghad, who we've heard from before as well. Is that right, Bowen? I think you're going to tell us the story of the Island of Feelings.
Yes, this is the Island of Feelings, and I heard it from Mariam and Raghad. Just one question. Can you hear this?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, okay, good. Then I've got my original sound on. Their story is the Island of Feelings, and I've turned it into a song. Whoops. There was an island of feelings. All the feelings lived there. Happiness, sadness, knowledge. Love lived there too. Love lived there too, on the island of feelings. Well, there was a warning. The island was sinking. The feelings all left in boats. Love stayed behind, love would not leave, only love remained on the island of feelings. When the island had nearly sunk in the sea, love decided to call for help to passing boats. Love called to wealth. Wealth, can you help me? Oh no, said wealth. My boat is full of silver and gold. There is no room for love. Love called to happiness, but happiness couldn't hear. Happiness was too content and wasn't paying any attention. Love called sadness, but sadness was too sad. Sadness couldn't do anything. Then a boat came by, and an elder called out, love, there is room. There is room enough for love. Love got on the boat, didn't know where it was going, but the boat got on dry land, and the boat sailed on. Love didn't know who had saved love. Love asked knowledge, who was it that saved me? Knowledge said time. Time is who saved love, because only time knows the true value of love.
Thank you, Bowen Lee. Thank you. How wonderful to turn that story into a song. We had before it, we had Evita, who sang a Palestinian song in Arabic, and then we come to Bowen giving us that interpretation of the Island of Feelings. We really appreciate your contribution, Bowen Lee. Thank you so much. Let's go to Greece. Evie Keridi in Greece. And Evie, I know you're going to tell another story from Hala. We've already talked about Hala's book. We've heard a story that Hala's sister Shatha told about the thirsty crow, but now one of the beautiful stories, Hala, we heard the story of the dog and the Hall of Mirrors, but it's another story that Hala told last year in the midst of the onslaught on Gaza. And you'll see also in the chat that I've added a link to the playlist where there's all of those hundreds of stories told from the children of Gaza. I appreciate the people in the room who haven't had time to tell a story today but have contributed. We really appreciate all of your stories, and all of you listening to the recording. Thank you for your contributions, and it's not too late. This project is going to run and run, so choose another story and tell it. Evie, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Hello, Evie. Thank you for being here. Are you
Hello,
well?
everyone, and Happy New Year from Greece. Am I audible?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you a story I heard from Hala. And Hala, I have to admit, she's one of my favorite storytellers. This specific story has stayed with me from the moment I heard it. And it's a story about an old man and his young son. So one day they were sitting together on a train. The son, 25 years old, was seated by the window. His face was glowing with excitement. He leaned closer, stretched his hand into the air, and called out, "Dad! Dad! Look! The trees are moving behind us." The father didn't answer with words. He simply smiled, sharing his son's joy. Nearby, a couple was listening. They exchanged looks. They were confused. They even felt uncomfortable. Why would a grown man behave like a child? Moments later, the young man cried out again, "Dad! Dad! Look at the pond! Look at the animals! And the clouds! They're traveling with the train. The couple listened in silence, but their surprise was growing, and so were the looks. Then the rain began to fall. Drops landed on the young man's outstretched hand. His face lit up even more. Dad, Dad, it's raining. The water touched my hand. Look at the water. At that point, the couple could no longer stay quiet. They turned to the old man and asked, "Why don't you take your son to a doctor? Why don't you have some help for your son?" The father looked at them gently and said, "Thank you for your concern, but we've just come from the hospital. My son had eye surgery today. For the first time in his life, he can see." So I leave you with a question. What might we see differently if we just paused before judging?
Thank you, Evie. Yes. Hala chooses such wise tales to share with the world. And
She is really wise. All her stories are wise.
Exactly. Thank you. As a teacher, like so many people here in the room and who share the stories, we're teachers, but are constantly amazed as teachers what we can learn from these children, these young people of Gaza. Well, we're drawing towards the final steps, the final parts. Lilian Rodriguez Pang wasn't able to join us in person from Australia live because it's the middle of the night in Australia. She said, I really want to participate. Can I send you a recording? Of course you can, Lilian. And she retells a story, another favourite from the project, a beautiful story that Jeena told, the story of the faithful cloud. So let me share the recording, and it's not Lilian on her own. She's with her daughter Rose, and Rose has illustrated Jeena's story, a story that Jeena herself created. So here is Lilian, storyteller Lilian Rodriguez Pang, all the way from Australia, telling the story of the faithful cloud. And then after that I will tell the final story of the event.
Hello, my name is Lily and I am recording this story at a festival in Australia, and I am hoping that the bandwidth will get it to you all for Tell a Tale from a Child from Gaza. New Year's and beautiful intentions into the New Year's. Thank you for everyone who worked so hard to continue to have these stories heard, acknowledged and listened to, and the people. I am telling this story with my daughter Rose, so that's Lily and Rose with her images, and we have chosen a story from Jeena because it is about a flower, which is very appropriate. This story is The Faithful Cloud. Once upon a time there was a little flower. Now, this little flower lived amongst many other flowers, and even though it was amongst many, it felt all alone. This little flower, well, you can see it there, and it's so sad. There are so many other flowers, but this one, it droops, it faces the ground, and it feels, oh, so alone. One day, a cloud came floating by, and it saw the little flower with its face to the ground, and it floated on down, and it said, well, hello. And the cloud said, how are you? I notice your face is facing the ground. I'd like to meet you too. The little flower looked up and said, well, hello. And they got to talking and playing and singing and dancing, and they became great friends. Oh, they loved each other. The cloud loved spending time with the flower, and the flower loved spending time with the cloud. Now this little cloud, it noticed that even though the flower was brighter with friendship, it wasn't growing up or stronger. And the cloud asked why, and the little flower said, I am without water. It doesn't make it all the way down to my little space in this little field. Oh, cloud said, I am small, but I can help you. I will try and fix it all. Oh, well, the little cloud went whoosh, 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 up and found some big clouds, big, heavy rain clouds, and said, I am small, but I am trying to save my friend, the flower, and all. Will you help by bringing rain? And the cloud said, we are heavy with rain. We would love to let it loose. The little cloud said, it's over there, over in that field, but there was a mountain in between. The clouds, they needed to move further than the mountain. They asked for the help from the wind. We are just one small cloud, one set of rain clouds. We are small, but together we are trying to help them all. That little friend needs us. Can you help blow us past the mountain? And the wind whoosh, 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 blew and blew and blew, and the clouds went and moved and floated. But then they hit the mountain, and all the rain came down the mountain, and all the rain went into the river, and all the river grew up with water, and all the water spread its banks, and all the water started to flow, but none got to that field. And the little cloud looked at the little flower, said, there's more I can do, and whoosh, 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 up he went. He said, I am small, but I will try to do what I can to fix you all. And he whoosh, 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 and pop, knocked into a bird. A bird had been watching, sitting all on its own, looking down at little cloud, looking down at little flower, and said, you are just like me, all alone. And the bird said, I am going to help. I can help too. I may be small, but I'll do whatever I can to fix you all. And so the little bird flew over to that raging water river and took a beak full of water and dribbled that water onto the flower, and the flower didn't move. The bird said, it's not enough, and flew over to the river, another beak of water, and down onto the flower, and it's not enough. But you know, the bird's friends saw it all, and this is my daughter Rose's change. And the bird's friends, oh, all the flock of them came flying and said, you have shown us what we can do. And they got that river water, and they picked it up, and they gave it to the little flower. The little flower was so happy, it grew up and became bright and tall. And at the end, all the birds saw a wonderful rainbow. Oh, they were so happy that the birds, that field, the flower and the clouds stayed friends forever. Because sometimes one voice feels so alone. But when others keep speaking it, oh, it can go out and out and out and call in the help of many others. I hope that that is the way of these stories for Gaza, for you, Jeena, and for everyone who keeps holding on.
Oh, thank you, Lillian. Thank you so much for contributing this beautiful story, retelling Zaina's story, The Faithful Cloud, so faithfully. Thank you, all of you who've contributed by sharing your attention, for listening to the stories of the children of Gaza being retold, and hearing the poetry from Mohammed and from Ibrahim, hearing from Menna, who told us the story of Free the Bee. And to bring the event to a close, I'd like to revisit a bee, because it's not only Menna, who was a young girl who told his Menna when she first told the story of Free the Bee. I was really wondering which story to finish with. There's so many wonderful stories that I love retelling from Gaza. I mean, was I going to finish by telling Shiraz's story of the apple tree, or would I tell Bessan's story about the farmer and the snake, or would I tell Maram's story, The Neighbour is Before the House, or Maram's sister Malak's story about the father and the son who go on a visit to a poor village? Or would I tell Farah's story about the fox's tail? But in the end, going back to the bee theme, earlier we heard about Layan. Michael told Layan's story of the thirsty crow, and Layan's younger sister is Banan, and Layan and Banan's mother is a teacher called Arij. And here is Banan, 9 years old, last year, 2024, early last year, and she told another story about a bee, the bear and the bee. So here's how we're going to finish, and so the bee is going to feature again. Kanya Makan, Fikadim as a man. There was once Mr. Bear, and Mr. Bear was hungry. Oh, I want honey! Give me honey! And he searched in the cupboard, but he couldn't see the honey anywhere. Ah! I want honey! Mr. Bear went out of the house, slammed the door behind him, and he was cross. He went into the forest and he smelt some sweet honey. The lovely aroma. And he came closer and he heard the buzzing of a bee. And he followed the bee back to the bee's nest on the trunk of a tree. Ah, honey! And as he went towards that nest, the bee turned and said, "Buzz off! Buzz off! That honey is our honey. We, the bees, made the honey. It's not for you, Mr. Bear." "It's for me. I'm hungry." And Mr. Bear swiped at the bee with his paw. The bee flew quickly, avoiding Mr. Bear's paw, and stung, zing, Mr. Bear on his nose. Ow! Mr. Bear was so upset. "I'll get you." He picked up a big stick and started thrashing at the bee. But the bee flew bzzz into the nest of honey. "I'll have my honey and I'll get you." And he, oh no, Mr. Bear struck the nest and struck and smashed the nest into bits. There was honey, but Mr. Bear couldn't get it. You know why not? Yes, you do. Out of that nest swarmed all of the bees, and the bees were cross. Zing, 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 zing! They began to sting Mr. Bear. They stung him on his ears. They stung him all over his face. Sting, sting, sting. And more than anywhere else, they stung Mr. Bear on his nose. Sting, 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 sting. Oh, Mr. Bear ran away, the bees swarming after him. Mr. Bear ran into his house and bang, he slammed the door behind him, and there was Mrs. Bear. "In a bad temper again, Mr. Bear?" "Yes." Here's the bee sting medicine. And she took out the medicine and rubbed it carefully on his sore nose. I couldn't find any honey. Oh, Mr. Bear. And Mrs. Bear opened the cupboard. She moved the bag of flour. There's the jar of honey, Mr. Bear. It was just behind the bag of flour. You know, Mr. Bear, a bad temper will get you into trouble. Thank you, Banan, for sharing that wonderful story. And I invite you all, in appreciation of the children of Gaza, to switch on your microphones and join that chant again as we say, free, free, free the bee.
Free the bee.
Free, free the bee. Free, free, free the bee.
Free the bee.
Free
the bee.
Free the bee.
Thank you all for being here for
Free
this
the bee.
longer than expected meeting. But it's a meeting to mark 2 years into the project Tell a Child in Gaza's Tale, a project which will continue. I'm going to be working more with Luzan on animating tales, and if you have any ideas for projects or funding possibilities, we've applied but haven't been successful yet. But do stay in contact. I know many of you are doing amazing things supporting our friends in Palestine, and this is the time to not just keep going but to redouble our efforts, because we have to bring about change for the sake of the Palestinians, but for the sake of our humanity, our collective responsibility. If you would like to say any final words, feel free, leave your microphone on, just say what you would like to say, and then in a couple of minutes we'll close the meeting. But I want to thank Evita and Jackie for being co-hosts and letting people into the room, and all of you for being present, and all of you who were just desperate to tell a story but there just wasn't time today. Keep the stories coming. Thank you. Please feel free to speak.
Let's do this again. This was very good, and I haven't heard half your stories, so we need to hear the other half next time.
What a wonderful idea. Thank you, and my best wishes to you.
Well, thank you, David, for carrying on. You and Haneen have done such a lot of wonderful work, and I'm off to do some more stories.
Fantastic. And that reminds me, you saying that, Jackie, Haneen couldn't be with us today. She's visiting her family in Egypt at the moment, and there's so much going on. I can't begin to explain everything, but her heart is with us, and she is sincerely appreciative of this project and of your involvement. So, yeah, in Haneen's name, I'd like to thank you all as well.
Yeah, I'd love to say Happy New Year to everybody. It's lovely to see all these faces. It's fantastic what you're doing for young people in Gaza. I mean, this is giving them voices, allowing them to speak is a wonderful thing. And yeah, keep up the good work. And
I say the same back to you, Jonathan. Keep up the good work. You're for me, if you don't already follow Jonathan Wanham on Facebook or on other social media, I recommend you do.
Thank you, David. Thank you,
Thank you, Cath.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Happy New Year to everyone.
Thanks, Dave, for being here. Dave Clinch is here. Gerald is here. Hi, Gerald. Great to see you.
Sorry, I couldn't get here till about 10 minutes ago, but yeah, thank you. It's been great.
Thank you very much, Gerald. Wonderful to see you.
So, David, how can we show this to others?
Thank you.
Recording being up.
Thank you very much, Bowen. Thank you for asking. I will do a very simple edit, and it will be up it will be up before midnight UK time, so it'll be out today.
Excellent, wonderful. It's been fabulous to be a part of this. Thank you, everyone, for all of your contributions and hard work. And let's make that change in the world that we want.
Thank you, Bo, and I agree. And and do pass on the video to other people, and do encourage people also, if they can, to make even a small donation if it's possible for Luzan and Menna's family. That would be wonderful.
Yes, a happier new year for all.
Thank you.
So David, Ibrahim just wrote me a message. He's sorry he couldn't talk anymore. He wanted to tell the story of his expulsion from Gaza City. So if you would love to hear it, still I could read it for him, but perhaps there's also another event where he can read it.
There will be another event. There will be another event to do that. Unless, would you like to read it now?
Whatever you like.
Let's hear, to finish the event, let's hear a Palestinian poet's and writer's word. Ibrahim is such a wonderful wordsmith. So, Mechthild, it's wonderful you're here. You've told children in Gaza stories, but let's hear you tell Ibrahim's story.
Okay, so what I witnessed during my expulsion from Gaza City. It was 9 a.m. in the morning on December 11th, 2023. I was having breakfast with my family at home on El Mashal Street in the El Ramal neighborhood of Gaza City when my brother's phone rang. My cousin Hashem answered the phone. "Hello, who is this?" he asked. An Israeli soldier replied in Arabic. "Hello, Hashem. This is the Israeli army." The room fell silent. Not before long, my mother, aunts, and cousins broke out into tears. "You must leave your home now and go to the humanitarian corridor," the Israeli occupation soldier said. "You must bring your IDs and a white flag. Leave now." Somehow, the Israeli army knew to call my brother's phone and also knew my cousin Hashem would answer. The Israeli military seems to know everything about us. In fact, the Israeli military has admitted this. They know where we are at all times. They know which Palestinians will be killed in every airstrike. "Everything is intentional," said one Israeli military source with first-hand experience bombing Gaza. "We know exactly how much collateral damage there is in every home." After the Israeli soldier finished talking, my cousin Hashem replied, "My family has 5 elderly people with chronic diseases and injuries, including my uncle, who is paralyzed." "That doesn't concern me," the soldier said. "Find a solution and evacuate to the south, or you and your family will be under the rubble." He hung up the phone. At that moment, I felt as if I entered a coma, unable to hear, move, or think. I was supposed to be helping others in greater need than myself, but I was the one in need of help. Then my father shouted, "Pack some clothes and prepare yourself for whatever comes next, and help get your uncle ready." I gathered some clothes and started to think about the trek south from our home to the El Bureij camp 20 kilometers away. I carried my uncle over to his wheelchair and put him in. As we took him downstairs, I started to tear up. We were leaving everything. Our family's history was in that home, and we were leaving it, not knowing if we would ever return to it. We left home at 10:30 a.m. We arrived at Salah el-Din Street, an area designated as a safe zone. where we found ourselves amidst thousands of other refugees. We raised the white flag as ordered, the emblem of surrender. The alleged humanitarian corridor could be described in many ways, but humane would not be one of them. I would describe it as a rotten corridor. That's because the road reeked of rotting human flesh. God knows how many people had already been butchered on that road, their decomposing corpses scattered around us. The Israeli army ordered us to walk south. There were so many displaced people everywhere. I got separated from my family. With every passing minute, hunger gnawed at our stomachs, a constant reminder of our desperate plight. The time was now 2:30 p.m., and I had been walking south for 2 hours amidst thousands of others. Walking next to me was an elderly man, clearly struggling to keep up. He was dehydrating. He stopped to drink some water as he was about to collapse. That meant he was impeding traffic on the road. Next thing I knew, his blood was all over my face. He fell to the ground. He was shot dead in cold blood in front of my eyes by Israeli occupation forces. Then I heard the sound of bullets flying everywhere. Israeli soldiers starting shooting at us in order to get us to run. A few weeks earlier, on October the 13th, I suffered a knee injury from the heavy bombardment in Gaza City. My knee got re-injured on November the 25th after even more heavy bombardment, and so I was not able to run. But somehow I ran anyway. The pain was unbearable. It got so bad, I began to wish I didn't have a knee at all. An Israeli tank started moving towards us. As I ran as fast as I could, my knee kept getting worse and worse. Then I tripped and fell on my head, suffering a head injury. I stood up and started running again until I reached the safe side of the rotten corridor. I found my family and we reached the El Bureid camp at 5 p.m. I gave every one of them an enormous hug. For a moment, all of the pain in my knee disappeared. As we settled down on the unforgiving pavement, the harsh reality of our situation sank in. We were alone, vulnerable, and exposed to the elements, living on the streets of the El Zawaida neighborhood, between Deir el-Balah and El Bureid. Our home that embodied love, tenderness, and cherished memories is gone. Now, every night, the roar of explosions overhead shatters the daytime calm. Panic grips our hearts as the sky erupted in flames, casting an eerie glow of chaos and despair. Each day, as death looms menacingly close, my family and I cling to each other, our bodies trembling with fear and desperation, praying that dawn will bring us salvation. Thanks, Ibrahim, for sharing.
Thank you, Mehta, for reading Ibrahim's words so meaningfully. And Ibrahim is here in the room, so obviously hearing you speak his words, I'm sure you appreciate Mehta reading your words so meaningfully. Ibrahim, thank you again for your testimony and your poetry.
Well, thank you, Mitchell, and thank you, everyone, for hearing this story. And that's the life of a Palestinian. That's how a Palestinian can live. Not because of anything, not because of you're human, but you hold a green ID that can embody that you are a Gazan. So you ran from the reality, from thinking to writing. You cannot write anymore because you are in danger, even if you are holding a pen, even if you are telling a story about yourself. That's the harshness of a Palestinian. Thank you so much, David, for letting everyone hear the stories of the Palestinian kids who have suffered. Thank you, Max. Thank you, Evatav. Thank you, Brown. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, everybody, for hearing the stories. Happy New Year.
We wish all our Palestinian friends the very best for 2026. Let there be hope.
Wish you the best.
Goodbye, everybody.
We need. Goodbye.
Goodbye.